My heart goes out to the family and loved ones of George Floyd, and I will keep you in my prayers. Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane and said to his disciples, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He went a little beyond them and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." It truly is a tragic thing that happened in Minnesota a few days ago, and it's very easy to get angry. I know I was very angry at what happened when I first heard of it, but the answer is not to riot in the streets. Violence solves nothing, as we've seen over the course of many years. It is a time of grieving. It is certainly a time to protest what had just happened, but we can take great comfort in the fact that no one has condoned what this officer has done. There was a commissioner who recently said he's never seen this level of unified condemnation towards a single act by a police officer in his lifetime. And I'd agree. We all, whether or not you believe it is racist is not important. Everyone knows that this is a terrible thing that happened, and it should not have happened, and we should do what we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. And when it's so hard, believe me, I understand. But no matter what, you might be afraid of what's to come. Maybe you're black, and your entire life you've been told, well, since I'm black, then I have it worse off than everyone else. But God says, as children of a sovereign God, we are never victims of our circumstances. We know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. There are situations and circumstances so difficult and overwhelming, we don't know what to ask of the Father. But God loves us so much that he even helps us to pray. The Spirit of God, who is within us, knows our hearts and intercedes on our behalf. Romans 8:28 tells us, "He who searches the hearts knows what the mind of the Spirit is, because he intercedes for the saints according to the will of God." And do you really believe God is in absolutely control of everything, or do you think he just rules over some things? The Lord is high above all nations. His glory is above the heavens. Who is like the Lord our God, who is enthroned on high, who humbles himself to behold the things that are in heaven and earth? He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. It is important to know that this is also a part of his purpose. But that doesn't mean that it is not a bad thing or something that we cannot grieve over. We should pray. We should protest peacefully, as that is not only our Constitution right, but something that we should do, that we're morally obligated to do in times of distress and great discomfort over terrible injustices. But right now, as Romans 10 tells us, we should trust the government and hope that they prosecute the officer to the full extent of the law. Now, that is not for us to harass them. It is not us to go out in the streets and destroy supermarkets such as Target. But we should sit and pray. Fight all your battles on your knees, and you will win every time. The one thing Satan does not want us to do is pray. If he can keep us busy, anxious, and distracted enough, he can keep you off your knees and away from God. Then he doesn't care what else you do. And fighting our battles on our knees means that we go before, O holy God, in reverence for who he is, placing our petitions, fears, wars, struggles before the sovereign of the universe, and entrusting them to his care. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verses 1 to 2 says, "Guard your steps as you go to the house of God and draw near to listen. Do not be hasty in word or impulsive in thought to bring up a matter in the presence of God. For God is in heaven and you are on earth. Therefore let your words be few." It's very easy to stand there, to get on your knees and say, "God, I cannot do this on my own. Please, I need your help." And thank you.